say 2 minutes, right? Well, it's going to be 3 or 4. Actually, I'm going to try and go for 2. Because unfortunately, Congress has the task of being late and over budget, and everybody here in the room has to pay the bill. So while I've got the microphone in my hands, I want to thank the screening committee for the recommendation. I really appreciate it. Now I'm done with the microphone. And I'd like to address the members now. I appreciate the recommendation from the screening committee, but I'm here to ask the members for your vote tonight, so that I'll be the endorsed candidate from the CVR for Ohio's 9th District. It's a serious decision you've got to make. But unfortunately, it's not the most serious decision in the next 7 days. Next Monday, the Iowa caucus is hit. I have some very bad news for everyone in the room. Bernie Sanders is going to win that by 2 or 3 points. After that comes New Hampshire. If you've seen the Monmouth poll, he's going to win that by 27, 28, or 30 points. In the middle of the 90s, I thought Bill Clinton was the worst president I've ever seen, and I was glad he was gone. Barack Obama proved I was premature in this debate. And unfortunately, Mr. Sanders looks like he's trying to prove me wrong about Barack Obama. When Sanders was in the House of Representatives, he started the Liberal Progressive Caucus. Does anybody know who started it with him? It's Marcy Kaptur, who is finishing her 34th year in Congress. And that's who I'm going to be running against in the fall. Bernie Sanders is leading in the polls for the presidential race for the Democrats. And one of his closest allies currently holds the seat that I'm in. Your vote tonight is extremely important. What's going to start to happen on the national stage on Monday is truly life-changing for the nation. Now, I would like to believe that Mr. Sanders actually wins the presidential nomination for the Democrats. That's their kiss of death, and we're going to have a completely remarkable turnout, and we're going to sweep them out of the White House, we're going to sweep them out of Congress, and we're going to really have a new conservative revolution in the nation. It's going to take activity, blood, sweat, tears, and shoe leather for the people in this room to make that truly happen. And I'm asking for your vote tonight to be the endorsed candidate. And then I'm asking you to support me with blood, sweat, tears, shoe leather, and financial support to send Barack Obama home and Marcy Kaptur home in January of 2017. For those of you who aren't in my district, you say, good, move on. Well, I want to answer one of the questions that the other candidates in the room got so far about Common Core. Unfortunately, I like Matt, Nan's, and Mike's answers. But you really need to be asking me, Bev, and Mr. Lynch.
That's right.
You shouldn't have to. It shouldn't be our decisions, but it is. You need the 3 of us to go to Washington to defund that program and drive those decisions back here where they belong. So other than that, I don't think any more nuanced policy discussions are warranted tonight. I'll take any questions from the floor or take them afterwards so we can stay on time.
Any questions?
One thing that's been bugging me forever.
If it's only one, you're ahead of me, sir.
You could throw out the prominent names of people that are the head of different committees, and you talk about Obama being the president, but behind him are all those people, like the woman who sent representatives of the United Nations, and all those people in the back room. What does a national representative in Congress, when are they going to start speaking to the fact that the people up front are the only, they're only there to be representing some part of Congress, but it's the 10,000 people.
I hate to cop out on this one, but the approval of the appointments of the President of the United States is the purview of the United States Senate.
Yeah.
I have some strong opinions on that, but whether it's Ted Cruz, Donald Trump, Marco Rubio, or Carly Fiorina, none of them will ask me, or Matt, about who should be Secretary of State, who should be Secretary of Defense, and who should represent us in the United Nations. Maybe nobody should. I've got some strong opinions on that. It needs to be people who will back in the United States and not sell out our sovereignty to foreign powers. But the man who needs to answer that question for you is this one right here. That's a senatorial issue. And there's a separation of powers, and it's an important separation of powers, and the framers of the Constitution gave that to the U.S. Senate. If I try to jump ship now and run for the other body of Congress, I'll lose all your respect. So I'll stay with running for the 9th District. Dr. Goldstein.
I know. It's a gimme. I was going to ask you about your energy policy. Of course, I know it is, but can you explain how it relates to jobs in your district?
Well, energy policy, I'm a true believer in all of the above, for sure. For those of you who know me, I have a particular soft spot for fourth generation nuclear, the molten salt reactors. I've been working on economic development in the 9th District, and very specifically at what is soon to be the former NASA Plumbrook site, because they're down to about 200 employees out there, and there's a video from the NASA Inspector General on their webpage that says there's no compelling reason for keeping NASA Plumbrook open anymore. That's unfortunate, but given that NASA can't get a man off of the Earth anymore and we have to hitch a ride with the Russians, maybe the IG is right. Now, energy policy. We need to open a research park on that site, and it goes all the way back to when President Eisenhower actually dedicated it for an Air Force project under the aircraft reactor experiment. The Eisenhower administration founded the Plumbrook Station. It was going to be a center of research, innovation, and so we were going to manufacture the next generation of bombers for the United States Air Force. How does energy tie to jobs? Very specifically, and at the risk of totally running over my time, Ohio in particular has totally screwed up energy policy since the Strickland administration. For those of you who don't know the details, Senate Bill 221 was passed under Governor Strickland's, under his signature. It requires that the entire state by 2025 be 25% wind and solar, and furthermore it sets 2008 as a baseline, and the entire state must use 12% less energy in 2025 than we did in 2008. So if you're a manufacturing company and things are starting to go good and you're thinking, I want to put on a second shift, I want to put on a third shift, congratulations, you now need to use 1/3 of the power on first shift that you did, so you can move 1/3 of it to second shift and 1/3 of it to third shift. Is that going to happen? It's not. Energy policy in this state, which I've been working on for years, and energy policy at the national level is a disaster, because energy, ladies and gentlemen, is the silver bullet to all of our problems. I don't want to do a complicated history lesson, but how many of us want to go back to the 1700s to a perfectly pure, unpolluted environment where standard of living was non-existent and the average life expectancy was 32 years old? Not such a good deal. Energy brings wealth, energy brings prosperity, energy brings standard of living, energy brings life expectancy. You want to double the standard of living in this country? Let's double the energy we use and let's cut the price in half. All right. Representative Baker, I'll break the rules for you any day of the week.
House and Senate, just for correction, stalled that mandate that you were talking about.
Well, it's frozen, under 304,
Right.
and the working group out of the Senate has lots of advisories on the changes to make, but they've not been codified yet.
We haven't, but we stalled it.
We stalled it, absolutely.
If you could not get Representative Baker, the bill is stalled.
It's stalled.
Well, it was Senate Bill 304 froze 221 through the end of this year.
And the recommendation is to do nothing.
Right.
So, yes. With
So
a
we've
lot
got
of
to undo
pushback.
that fully and make it permanent.
One of those courageous bills that we talked about earlier, that's one of them.
And
That's why we have to keep control of the Ohio House, too.
absolutely.
Okay, folks, we got to move on.
Absolutely.
Because you're not a jerk. Okay, we need to move on to the thank you for it. Now, U.S. Congress District 14, the Cheyenne Return Matter.